students, how are you all? I hope you all are well. So today in this class of grade 7 we are going to learn science and the chapter is chapter 12 time and motion. So let's see how we can measure the time, how we can define it along with motion. Okay, so we actually use time in everything what we do. Our action depends on time. Suppose we are waking up in the morning and then we are going to bed at the night. This all depend on this time. So you can say that time is really very important. Now, you know how to see the time, right? You can either use your watches or your clocks. But why do actually measure time? What is the need to measure time? See, it depends and vary from person to person. If you were a doctor, you would be using time to measure the pulse rate and heartbeat. Okay? You are a farmer, then you will decide the time and then you will sow the seeds and later on you will harvest your crops. Time is very important for students as well when they are writing exams, when they are doing their projects and when they are doing their homework, etc. Travelers even use time to complete their journey, and even the sportsmen, when they have to do any event or when they are about to play, they keep the time in their mind. And that is why this time is really very important. And do you know, the time between the two consecutive days is called a day. Okay? So suppose today is 6th of May and tomorrow is 7th of May. So the sunrise of 6th of May and the sunrise of 7th of May will give you a complete day between it. Now, we understood that why we need to measure time. And we also know that there are plenty of devices. We have clocks and watches, and as the technology is improving, we have some special resources too. So you know, those clocks are which stuck on the walls are called wall clocks. Some are there on your table where you put your alarms are called table clocks, and some are there which you tie on your wrist are called watches. So we have many types of wall clocks, table clocks, even the digital clocks which only show the number without minute hand or second hand. And there are many type of watches even indicating the month and the day of that particular time. Now, if we know what is the important, how to do, then we should also understand the time could be in smaller period or even in larger period. The smallest unit, or you could say the basic unit of the time is second, whereas the larger unit than second is called minutes and the largest is an hour. Okay? And do you think these clocks and watches were available in the ancient time when even we don't know how to make the machines in the digital format? No, they were not. There were some machines like sundial, like a water clock or even the sand clock. These machines, or you could say the devices, were used to measure time when we don't have the typical digital and the wall clocks at that time. Now, the sundial and water clock, you need to understand their work along with sand clock one by one. So see, this sand clock was used to calculate the time by measuring the time taken by sand to flow from one chamber to another chamber. As you can see, the upper chamber has some sand and it is going towards the lower chamber. So as much time it would take to go in the lower chamber, that would be the time period according to a sand clock. In this water clock, it was invented even when the need was felt to measure the time in night also. That time they were keeping a conical stone type thing and then they put the hole in the bottom. The vessel which was in the form of cone was filled with water, and as much time the water takes to go into the cylindrical chamber, that period was consumed as the required time. And when it was daytime, you all know they used the sundial. As you can see in the first picture, this sundial used to measure the time as per the shadow casted by sun. So I hope you understand the work of all these three. Let's see what are the units of time we also have. So there are so many units, as I told you, minutes, hour and second, which are used in the clock. But along with this, scientists use some units which are called SI units. As you can see on your screen, 1 minute gives you 60 seconds, 1 hour gives you 60 minutes, 1 hour fetches you 24 hours, 1 week gives you 7 days, 1 year has 52 weeks, 1 year has also 365 days, and if you say 10 years, it becomes decade, 100 years makes a century, and a millennium is made by 1000 years. And do you know what is the standard unit of the time? Yes, it's correct. It is the second, the smallest unit of time we know. Okay, so what is motion now? We are going to learn what is motion. When you see anything which is moving from one place to another, you say that it is a motion. When you see any object is changing its position as per the time, you say it in motion. There are many types of motion. If suppose a body over an object like car moving on a straight line, you say it is a rectilinear motion because it is moving in a line or in a straight line. What is the periodic motion? The motion in which the motion is repeated by itself. The object repeats its position one after the other is called periodic motion, which is done by the pendulum. And the circular motion. All the planets, all the subplanets, the satellites, they all are doing circular motion with respect to sun and planets respectively. So this is called circular motion. Now we know that our earth is actually not only rotating on its axis but also revoluting around the sun. And because this happens after a regular interval, that is why the motion of earth is called periodic motion. Okay, so the next thing I told you about simple pendulum. This pendulum is again to repeat itself. Now what we do in this simple pendulum, we hold a metallic ball, or you could also say a metallic bob, on a stand by using a thread downside. And after keeping it into the middle, like suppose you have 3 points A, O and B, and you are holding your bob on A, O, and then you are sending it toward A, it comes back to O, and then it goes to B, then it comes back to O. This is something, the motion which is to and fro, forward and backward, this is called periodic motion, and because it is also done by the pendulum, it is called the oscillatory motion. Now, the oscillation. What is the oscillation? When the bob, I told you what is bob? The small ball which is in the mean position. When this ball goes from O to A and then to B and come back to O, this is called one oscillation. And the time taken to complete one oscillation, it is called the time period. When you are studying the simple pendulum, you should remember that it does a to and fro motion. That is why it is called oscillatory motion, and also it goes from one position to another position and repeats itself. That's why it is called an uniform motion, right? Now, the time period you understood, the oscillation you understood. So let's see what is speed. The distance which is covered by an object in a given time, that is called the speed of the object. The unit of the speed is meter per second, kilometer per hour and so on. But when we say a standard unit which is opted by scientists all over the world, that is meter per second. For example, there is a car, it covers a distance of 100 kilometers in 1 hour. And on the other hand, there is a bus which covers only 50 kilometers in 1 hour. Then, which one is the fastest one? Yes, you are right. the car is having the more speed than the bus because it is covering more distance in 1 hour. So we can also say the speed can be calculated by total covered distance divided by the time taken by it. And if your object is moving on a constant speed, it is called uniform motion. Suppose in 1 second your car has moving 1 meter and in the another 1 second it moved 1 meter, then this is called uniform motion. But if your car is moving 1 meter in first second and 3 meter in the second second, then it would be non-uniform motion, which is keep on changing. Now how we can measure the speed? To measure the speed, we should always know what is the covered distance and how much time has been taken. For example, there is a car which is covering 100 kilometers in 2 hours. So speed is equal to what? Distance upon time. Keep the distance and divide it by time. You would be getting 100 by 2, that is 50. But don't forget to put the units kilometer per hour. Now suppose you know the speed and the time and you want to calculate the distance. Just put your speed 50 km per hour and multiply it by the time, that was 2 hours. You would be getting 100 kilometers, the covered distance. And if you want to know the time taken by the car to cover a particular distance at a particular speed, then just keep time is equal to distance upon speed. The distance was what? 100 km divided by the speed 50 km per hour, and it will fetch you 2 hours as the time taken by the car. So, we understood that speed can be calculated by checking how much distance is covered in how much time. So, this speed, how much speed the vehicle has taken, can also be measured, and the device used for it is called the speedometer. And how much distance your object has covered, that is called the odometer. In first image you can see a simple speedometer, where in the second image you can easily differentiate between a speedometer and odometer kept together. Now you should also know what is a distance time graph, because we know with the help of distance and time we always measure the speed. So for suppose you have time and distance record. Suppose in 0 second you have covered 0 kilometers, in 1 minute you have covered 1 kilometer, in another 1 minute you covered 2 kilometers, and so on. When you are keeping it in this way and you are plotting this all in your graph paper, you would be getting a distance time graph where time is shown horizontally and the distance is shown vertically on the distance time graph. This will help you to know whether the speed is uniform or non-uniform. As you can see, you are getting a straight line on the graph. It means your body, your object is moving on a uniform speed, and this is a uniform motion. I hope you understood the concept of time, speed and the type of motion. Thank you. Have a nice day.